Got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Changing the
Got it. We're recording.
Awesome.
Tim's in charge now.
So I'm gonna start off today asking you guys to think about the past, like let's go back a month. I'm a huge proponent of celebration. I'm a huge proponent of evaluation, but I hate evaluation before celebration because I think that leads to deflation. I'm gonna write that down. Dylan, enjoy that. I looked up and I was like, get me that cupcake or nothing.
About inflation right now.
So we do a lot of talk about improving and ways to build and things that we're working on and all of those things, and I think that's all important and necessary and good. But I would also just love to take, and we have to make it brief because see all the people. But I'd really love for you just to think about the last month as a worship leader at Sandals Church. So kind of, as I spew all these words out, you be thinking about this thing that I'm saying. And I want you to celebrate something that you've been a part of, something that you're really grateful for. If it's a conversation, if it's an experience, if it's something that was a resource, could be on the weekend, could be something that happened in the kitchen with someone you work with. Whatever that looks like, just a snippet, because I think what's really important for us to remember in the grind of doing this every week is that we will lose sight of things to celebrate when we're tired, when we're irritated, when we're annoyed, when we're frustrated, when we're just discouraged. Things that we should be celebrating will just evaporate from our minds because we're just consumed with how tired we are, how irritated we are, how frustrated we are, how we liked it better before, whatever those things are. And that's where the enemy goes, okay, this is a great place for you to be, for me to start stealing your joy. And that's a downward spiral that no one wants to be on, because that's a hard place to recover from and bounce back from. Because then not only are you not being authentic and leading on the weekends, you're collecting a paycheck and you're playing a gig, and your heart and your soul just become cold and disconnected and detached from this beautiful, beautiful thing that we get to do. It's beautiful and it's wrought with imperfections. That's what we have to remember. And if you're married, you're like, hey, I know about that. This relationship is beautiful, but Lord Jesus, help that man or help that woman. That's life, right? Life is beautiful and wrought with imperfections. So I'm going to start. I'm giving you more and more time to think. This is my gift to you right now, all you fives in the room. This is 19 years I've learned. Don't be in a setting and start a conversation and then say to my husband on the spot, hey, tell about that time when you... He's like, stop doing that. So then I'm like, okay, I'll just tell it, because he knows I'll do that too. But I want to give you some time to think. So something that I'm celebrating, I love reading your weekend worship evals. I read them every week. And I love just getting your perspective. It's so helpful for me. It helps me know you better. It helps me understand the settings in which you're leading better. But here's what I'm celebrating. Go back to January. Go back to the fall. Let's go back before January. And picture these people in your mind. Picture Daniel Martz, Daniel Gottlob, Carly Camden, Stephanie Hall. Those are the four that God was really bringing to my mind. And where they were like last fall, and who they are and where they are now. And it's just incredible. It's incredible to see their growth. And I'm celebrating that for them, but I'm really celebrating you guys, because it's been your investment in them. It's been your encouragement and your challenging of them. Anthony Flores will be up there too, even Princess. It's been the way that you've coached Daniel Martz, Matt, and your intentionality with him as being a 9, like, hey dude, here's a good 9, here's a ugh. The way he band led for Cultivate, he was a different person than like 3 months ago. Like, he had words and he spoke them out loud, and they were good words, and they mattered, and they made us better. to see where Anthony took on San Bernardino as his project, and the way that you've coached him in scheduling nightmare that we all go through, the way you've empowered Carly, the way that you all have empowered Stephanie with having her at your campuses. I'm just really celebrating watching them flourish and grow and become better, and it's all because it's a team effort. It's obviously Christina and Rogo School of Worship is meant, but it's all of the experiences that they're having with you or alongside of you as you're mentoring them, as you're meeting with them and you're coaching them, how much they're getting better. I'm really celebrating because that's a team effort. That's you guys really collaborating as a team and helping them flourish. And what they're experiencing as a result of that may never manifest itself into a long, elaborate thank you with like all of you individually, but I'm communicating that to you on their behalf because it's what they're experiencing. They're volunteers and they're kicking butt everywhere they go, but they're so ridiculously happy. They're so like, they're just because they're in their zone and they're being mentored and they're being challenged and they're being encouraged. So that's kudos to them for taking on the challenge and being coachable and being teachable. You know, when I got an email from Daniel a few weeks ago and I contacted you, like, yep, we've been working on that email for a while now. Like, it's what growth that is though for him to step into that place. And so I just happened to be at Daniel Martz's audition. It was like one of the last auditions I was ever part of, and I'm like, this dude is so quirky. But wow,
still
he's a quirky, but what a gifted person. And our church is reaping the benefits of those gifts because we've chosen to invest and mentor and challenge him. And so that's a team win. So I'm really thankful for you guys and the way that you bring these Rogo students into your environments, into your settings, and you challenge them and you coach them and you bring them along. It's making them so much better, and they're just having the time of their life. So that's my celebration. You're next.
I was gonna
Oh,
see Becca's
Lord.
over here.
That's true, Becca.
You're so good too, and you're very strong.
Me too. But you're still studying, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So I am celebrating in the last month through the chaos of scheduling and facilitating and campus launching and people leaving, that the momentum of our team, specifically at Hunter Park, has continued to press forward. People are still like about each other, which is the biggest one for me. Like they just like each other. And the funny thing is talking to people on our team, and they are being asked by other people, both in our church and outside of our church, hey, is it like really like that? Like they'll see posts on Instagram like, you guys like really enjoying each other? Like really? Like it's almost unbelievable the amount that people are genuinely just displaying like they're having a good time and they're actually liking it. And it's kind of heartbreaking that other churches aren't doing that. Like it's unbelievable to them that they would have a team that would love to be together serving their church. That's like sad, that's weird.
Yeah, that is right.
And it's fantastic that is something that's continuing to perpetuate. So that's huge. Like it's
Awesome.
good. Yeah.
Now you legit have to go.
Yeah. I think what I would say is a celebration. There's a lot that goes back farther than over the last month, back to January. It's been really cool to see Morgan seriously step into the role of Woodcrest campus worship leader. Like that was I had my own grieving process and stepping back from that position, and but to see how how God has this like ebb and flow of leadership, and like stepping out means that somebody else can step in, and so it's just been really, really neat to sit back. And even the the Sundays that I am able to be there and watch her lead has been really cool. Then I got to be there 2-3 weeks ago and to experience the band that has been built up there, and the camaraderie has been really was really cool to step in, and my heart was so full being there a few weeks ago to just experience like what God has done using Morgan's leadership, but also just what he's doing at the campus has been really cool. So to be gone for a while and to be able to step back and go, man, God's been doing amazing things, and and then to see how Morgan is just flourishing in that role has been really cool.
So great.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, back in January, I was at a different church, so I'm just kidding. I would say the past couple months, it's been challenging to fill positions at my campus. I've really been kind of burning out, like my 3 core people, Gene, Steve, and Kenny, but yet they still come every week. Sometimes more prepared than I am. Like, I swear Kenny knows the song better than I do. So that's been good and challenging. I'm like, oh, I guess I should probably like listen to these songs.
Yes. Yeah.
Just gonna.
I didn't.
And edit out.
Yeah, they're just coming back every week, excited. They want to serve. They don't care. They're like, yeah, just put me on for the whole month. I'm like, cool, because there's no one else. And then it's exciting. I've got like 4 people ready to do auditions.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
I've set up a time to lead at Thousand Pines to try to network with people and get some kids involved.
Way to go.
Yeah, it's exciting times.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Thanks.
They are those 3 amigos, dude.
They are. They're like the band of brothers.
They
They
are.
are.
Yep.
Sometimes you gotta reel them in. You're like, hey guys, hey.
I'm over here.
I'm here too.
I'm the leader.
But the blessing also that it's not the 4 amigos with Virgie anymore. Let's just be real.
She's never an amigo.
The
She's
4th
never an
musketeer.
amigo.
She was never. She was the Diablo.
Dude, guys, this is a side note, but when Pastor Ian first had a conversation about Virgie with Gene goes like this. Ian, she's not saved.
Like,
Ian's
oh,
like,
awesome. Cool.
okay.
Cool.
This will never.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first thing Steve told me. He was like, we're not sure Virgie's saved. I'm like, bless the Lord. Good. I'm glad she's on the keys. My first.
Did anyone have that conversation with Virgie? Awesome. On to you, Matt Ritchie.
Oh man, I know I posted on Slack last week, but I'm just celebrating the band leader training we're able to do on multiple levels. It was really cool. I'm just learning on a personal level, like I love when I have opportunities to teach and stuff. Like it's just really enjoyable to me. So having a group to do that with is cool. I think that everybody we invited to it except for one person was able to make it. So it ended up being, I think, 17 of us, including me.
Wow.
4 of which are just like interested and like haven't done it yet. So Garrett sent Steve and Kenny up, and then we had Nick and Jonathan from Marina Valley, who are just like kind of like, yeah, I've never done it before, but Delon said I could probably, and so it was really cool to have that. And so I think we had a lot of like, but at the same time we have like Ryan Webb and Melissa Sattler, like people that have been doing it the longest except for me. And so everything in between that was really cool as far as experience, but also like I'm pretty sure almost every like campus was represented, like even had like Adam Arts there like claiming Eastvale, Clayton sort of claiming Eastvale. Just work that out between you
Clayton's
guys.
not claiming, so it's not.
I think he said eventually.
Well, they can't both claim it everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Gary?
Just gonna.
Gary.
But all that say, like the campuses that were represented, the different instruments that were represented, like we had like 3 or 4 drummers there. I'm like, we're gonna figure it out. I don't know how to do it, but I know you guys could do this position, so we're gonna figure it out. And so having that was really cool. And it just seemed like a really great time. Like I didn't ever have to be like, hey, hang out and talk to each other. Like we had, like everyone was just kind of hanging out before and after, just chatting, and yeah, it just felt like a really good time. And then on the other level of like bringing Daniel Martz in to facilitate and also take part in that was good, because I was a little concerned going into it, like just him activating and getting stuff done. But then in the moment, like I was like really impressed. Like he got there, got video cameras set up for me. He said like, here's what we're gonna do. Like, where do you want me to stand? Because I gave him a time to share like what it was like becoming a band leader and what that experience has been, what he likes about it. And he did a really great job at that. Like actually sounded really just normal, like conversational, which was really cool. But then even like tearing stuff down and getting it ready, and him saying like, yeah, we need to send people like probably should send them the keynote, and I'll get the video edited and send it out, like, and just taking ownership in those ways was really encouraging to me. And so I'm really excited to go over that review with him, and with telling him like, I want feedback from you. Like I want to know what content you think like could be better, what we need to do, because you're going to be helping me teach it next time. So
Sweet.
I'm just excited for it. It made me really hopeful for the future, and to have just that core group to start with was really cool. Like just looking at that room, standing there with them like before I even started teaching, was just like so grateful.
So sweet. Tell us.
So good. I am very thankful, moving to the campus job, first of all, just from on a personal note, like having worked not at a campus and then moving to a campus. A lot of perspective has come with that, and a lot of gratitude for the people that serve every week has come with that, because when you think in the network mindset, you just assume the spots will be filled and everyone will be where they need to be and everything goes on. But I feel the difference when there's, a full team at Eastville. I personally feel that.
Sure.
And so I'm grateful for the perspective that I've gained over the last several months, and the gratitude of being able to look at people and go, Frankie and Joanna, thank you so much for coming today. And whereas I would have thanked them before, singing together at Hunter Park, I'm like, you have no idea the difference that it makes that I didn't have to sing 5 songs this week. But that, Joanna, you sang too, and Emily, you sang too. Like it just, so the perspective has been really wonderful.
Yeah.
And tied to that, I'm really celebrating the opportunity then that our rapid growth, which often feels heavy and challenging, it creates just immediate opportunity for people to come and get more reps and lead. That's how we develop people to be able to then go to the many different places that are still to come, is the opportunity of like a launch that maybe we didn't have a church to merge with, we didn't have an existing band, when we don't have a bunch of people raising their hands to say they're going to audition, but we can, in the meantime, cover, and people can have, so just seeing what God's doing in my heart, even with perspective, and then also creating opportunity for other people to come and lead. Like Joanna was giving vocal prompts to the audience or to the congregation, telling them like, sing it out, like clap your hands. I was like, yes, go ahead, because we're
She's in our next bullpen too.
yeah, and she just, both her and Emily they were just so great this weekend. And again, the understanding now, having comparison to aid us in gratitude of, I know what it's like to be by myself on the
Yes.
stage.
And informed perspective.
And you can only
is
hit the
a big
cone
feature.
so hard. You can only do it so hard, So it was just, it was so great. It was a great
So awesome.
weekend. So yeah.
Cool.
I have a similar celebration because at Moreno Valley, I think just the size of the campus, there's more opportunity for me to kind of develop some of our volunteers and to give opportunities and stuff. So namely like Leslie Kazar has been leading a lot lately, and her growth is just like amazing. And I like seeing that there are people at Moreno Valley who really like take ownership over that campus. Like period, they're like I have to ask them to like go to other campuses sometimes, but they're like, we just love this campus, and that's really cool to see. So there are a couple of them that whenever they're scheduled, we'll have time afterwards because they've expressed that they'd like to start leading and everything, and there's not a whole lot of time for like that kind of thing during rehearsals. So I asked them, I was like, okay, if you agree to like a half hour after rehearsal when you're like here, and I'll just kind of give you stuff to work on, and we kind of keep working on that. And
That's great.
we've done it like twice, and Jonathan is one of them who between even just the first and second week, like it was like it was a difference. So I'm really excited about him and his wife, because I'm trying to think of you know, who's gonna be there, like if I'm not there, you know, and trying to really build that up. But people just step up to the campus. Nick Eller is always going like, hey, I play this, and like sometimes it's not like a thing where we want it to happen as much, but he's just like, I see this need and I want to do that, and he's starting to do just so much more. It's just people just love that campus, and
That's great.
I like seeing that.
You said something so good. You said, I'm trying to think about if I'm not here. That's how every leader should think. If I'm not here, who could do this? And your little half hour trainings you're doing at the end you're gonna reap so many benefits from that, because you're not just giving them your time, you're instilling confidence in them that they can do this thing that they're trying to do. So that's a major one. It's great.
So I'd say for like my youth team specifically, one of the things I was really nervous about or scared about going into it was we didn't really have like any actually like youth that could be on the team. So it was people that are already serving on Sundays, already doing stuff for band auditions, already doing Cultivate events, and I'm like, wow, I'm about to ask these people to do another night, and I know how that is, you know, doing a couple things a week, and I was like, frick, man, like these people aren't gonna want to do it, like it's gonna be a chore for them, but it's like totally not been that at all, which has been super like a blessing, and I'm so grateful for like the heart of our volunteers and the people that are there serving on my team. Like they, like some of the people like Gavin on drums is literally like Taylor like texting me like, when's the next youth event? Like when are we gonna do this? He's asked me like 5 times already. Like, dude, are there any like big events this summer? Like what's going on? Like when can I come and do this? And he's just bought in.
So great.
And that excites me, and several other people. And I've even got text messages from people that serve on Sunday that I didn't initially think would be people that I would ask to like come do youth stuff, but they're like, hey, like I heard like they talked about it this Sunday at Woodcrest, and they introduced you. I didn't know you were doing that. Can I serve on the team? And I'm like, what? That's so cool. So that just like blew me away. So yeah, that's kind of like what I'm celebrating, is just people that want to do it. They're sold out. They're about the cause, and like those are the people that I get to serve with. So it's super cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm sending you a worship leader, so you're welcome.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Addie's like, when can I be on? And I'm 7th grade. I'm like,
Like a weekend.
talk to Taylor.
That's cute.
She told Elijah, you don't have to lift your hands when I'm up there, but it would mean a lot to me.
Oh.
Why can't I use that, dude?
That's so awesome.
That's
You
what
can have some skills.
Eddie, you gonna use that at Hunter
I'm
Park?
gonna use that.
Use that at Hunter Park.
Bro. Like, listen.
That's not
Listen, guys, you don't have
You don't have
to.
to raise your hands right now in this moment.
No,
but-
Yeah, from stage.
He's like, don't.
You guys write that in as the speaking point this.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
It mean a lot to me to hear it.
The worst is if there's this like,
Maybe she heard me say that to Adam a couple times. Like, you know what, dude?
See,
It'd mean a lot to me. Just kidding, you guys. Never said that. Never heard those words.
That's funny. So I think for me, January was when I started on staff officially. So since then, I feel like I've just grown a lot, just in my capacity, and I think I really enjoy like seeing the different campuses, meeting the different staff there and pastors and stuff, and that's been really cool. I wasn't sure if it would be something that would be more of a challenge or if it would be something that I would sort of lock in with, and I feel like I've really locked in with like doing that, like the versatility of it. So that for me is encouraging because it shows my personal growth. I think two moments stand out for me. One of them was Cultivate. I felt like there was a moment, and I shared that with you, your song. Oh my gosh, I don't want to cry.
Too bad.
Sorry. I don't know what it was about, like the Holy Spirit just breathed on that song when you guys were singing it.
where I could see I was back behind where the drums were, and just looking out and seeing all the women, and seeing you guys singing, and just remembering where God has brought me from. And, you know, just not many of you know like my full testimony, but there was a season where there was nothing, like I wasn't doing anything, any worship, anything. And the Lord put a promise in my heart that he was going to do this thing, and I just felt like, how is this even going to happen, you know? And in that moment, the words of that song, it was like I was a mess. I was like literally on the floor praying and just thanking God for all that he's done. And then Christina, of course, reminds me, your word was remember, you know, like remember the word I gave you for Rogo. And I was like, oh. So, you know, it's like all like fits,
I know, glad I'm not the one that remembers her
it
voice like
fits
that.
together all nicely, like in a nice package. Remember is my word. So, but yeah, just seeing that in the words, like, of that song, where just, you know, you pick up the pieces and you put me back together, and it was like, oh my gosh. So even, like, thinking about that moment, like, I can't not cry. I was a mess. And then I had to get up and sing my song, so.
Which you sang.
I did, I tried, yeah, it was weird. But that was just a great, for me, I had been praying into that event, praying in the sense that I wanted God to do a work in the women, and what I didn't realize is that he was gonna move me, like, like wreck me in a way that I wasn't really ready for. But it was great. That was a great experience for me. And then the second one was getting to lead with Brittany Ritchie for her first time back. And that for me was a real marker just in my journey as well, because the first time I led worship here, I led with Eddie and Brittany. And I told Brittany, I thought it's really special to me because that time I was really nervous, like, you know, coming back into it. There were a lot of factors that that I hadn't been used to or accustomed to, that I had to get used to when I led here for the first time. And she was there, and she made me feel really comfortable. Like we just kind of gelled in a way in our friendship. And then, you know, years later, here I am, and I'm now leading her in her first time back. And it was just a really sweet, special moment, because there were a lot of things that she had to adjust to, you know, having twins and coming back into singing again, and that I don't think she was anticipating the adjustment. And I just felt like the Lord gave me so much grace, having sort of not been through that exact same experience, but sort of a similar situation where you're having to like recalibrate your life around this gift that you've been given. And it was a sweet Sunday. It was really special, like just singing with Brittany and Josh, and I just felt like the Lord really blessed, you know, that Sunday. And so anyway, those are just two, I think, for me, highlights these last few months. It was great.
I'm trying to pick what I want to say. I have two things.
Say both of them, man.
So, I want to celebrate the growth of the team at East Valley. Not only in number, praise the Lord, but just like individually, musicianship, just like seeing God bless them and the growth, like their spiritual lives, and like being able to hear that and be part of it has been really awesome. And then also just like the unity that has been created within the team. Spencer sent out a text to the entire team yesterday, and it was like this long essay. And Spencer will talk in the green room and stuff, but he's like usually off in the back as a high five. So he sent like this really sweet message breaking down, like celebrating each band member, specifically saying what he loved about the weekend, what they did. And then one after the other, like everybody was just celebrating each other within the thread. And it's such a blessing to me, like, to be part of that, because I don't know. The second thing kind of ties into this, but I shared with quite a few of you a few home bases ago, or meetings ago, But just like the shift of heart and perspective on my end as well. I was so closed off when I first went to East Valley, and not about it.
This is still recorded.
But once that shift happened, I don't know, I feel like God just really honored that and blessed that. And just to be open and like being able to embrace and experience the amazing team at East Valley as a campus and the staff, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just really blessed to be there for that team. So I'm super thankful for the team at East Valley.
That's great.
I didn't know we could take two. If I could have taken two, I would have said one of my other favorite weekends was being at East Valley. I don't know, it was like probably 2 months ago, but it was because of the team. Like I loved stepping in and being like, man, this is awesome. Like this is so fun. And I think there's something really special about doing Saturday night and Sunday together. You know, like there's this real camaraderie that gets built because you're like, man, we're working so hard, but we're doing it arm in arm. And I was just stepping into the team at East Valley was super special. I felt it coming in. It's really cool. Yeah.
That's great because that wasn't a year ago. That wouldn't have been. I don't think that would have been the experience. So this is hope for you, Garrett, for you, that things can look so much different a year from now. With a lot of hard work and determination and patience and loving on and caring on and encouraging and affirming. So it's I'm done. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm celebrating my team too. Like, not in the sense of it as a whole right now, because I feel like we have two categories of POM. We have like the people who are really in, and then the people who are on the fringes, and like some are just even like too afraid to sing on the platform. Like there's like a weird gap. But the people who are in, and they're like in with each other on the weekends and outside of weekends. I shared this in my weekend email, but they're like buds, and they're like they're brothers, and it's so fun to see, and like lead them in like on the weekends as they're like excited to be with each other. It's really fun. It's changed the culture of our green room. It's changed, I think, even the culture of like our worship at POM. And I met with Joshua Baker yesterday, and we were just kind of talking about how he's doing, and he's in a really he's just in a tough season and a lot of transition. But we were reflecting back, like literally on January, where we both kind of took a chance on each other. Fredo introduced us, and he was like an assistant worship director at a smaller church up north, and so and had just moved down literally to be with his girlfriend who's moving, and they just recently broke up. And everything in him is like, I literally like moved down for this girl, but he's staying because of like being on the team. And his family is like all scattered. It's so, but like his community is here, his friends are here, his church is here. And I remember his audition. He came to a rehearsal, and he came despite my lack of communication, because I was like really unsure about him. I was like, I don't know what like baggage you're bringing in from another church, like let's ease into this. He just started coming through weeks prior to that audition, and but he came because I had said like, yeah, we rehearse on Thursdays, and he just showed up, and he's like, I just want to come and see what you guys are doing, and he sang for me, and he sang Worthy, and it was before we even started doing it in the set. So I don't know, there's just like a lot of cool things, and like now he's the guy that I rely on at POM. As Daniel's moving around and getting reps at other places, like he's the guy. And I keep hearing people who are like, who is that dude? Like his voice is awesome. But then in our conversation yesterday, he's talking about how he's processing like all of this really hard stuff, and he's like in the Word, and he's in community, and calling his mentors like back up, like he's digging in and doing the work. And so it doesn't feel like we just have like another lead vocalist, like we have another like worship leader. And Pastor Fredo and I had a conversation back in January of like, he was like, I want you to shift from being the player to being the coach. And yesterday was like a day where I coached our team through an acoustic set because it was a big set, and I didn't play, and and we just kind of worked through together, and the team I think felt that sense of exposure and the responsibility, but they did it and they nailed it, and like along the way they were getting feedback from the church like, wow, like things sound so great today, like worship is incredible. So I don't know, it was cool. I just feel like the team has put in a lot of work for the on the platform stuff, but then also for the off platform stuff, like community and being together. And it's just changing like the pace, it's changing the dynamic, and it's changing me too. Like I feel like it's changing my leadership and even how I see my team. Like I have a heart for my team, which I did not at the beginning of the year.
We won't post this.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
It's not editing. We're gonna have to deal with
I
this video.
didn't, like, I'll just be honest, like they're hard. Like
I remember.
I love Ben, but he's hard. But like then yesterday, like I don't know, like we got to talk and I watched him play piano and on an acoustic set where he had to drive it. And that was not the case 6 months ago at all. So I feel like we've grown in like confidence in one another in the work that we do, trusting each other, and like a sense of camaraderie and community, which for me is just, I don't know, I think cool.
That's awesome.
And I'm being reminded that like what we do matters, and it matters, I think, to the church, but to the people that we do it with. Because right now Joshua has friends and people to talk to during a really hard season. So I don't know.
Such a win.
I celebrate him and the team, and he's gonna go through the whole pandemic too. So
It's great.
yeah, all of those
I
things.
love this because I remember when we first started talking about campus self-sustaining teams, I felt like there was some diarrhea in the presence. Like, oh, but what? But, and it's hard work, and it will continue to be hard work for sure. But you have incredible buy-in when you have people who are committed to your leadership and to their campus that you wouldn't have, that we wouldn't be able to grow if we just threw all our volunteers into a big pot and then just shuffle them everywhere. We still do some shuffling, we still do some borrowing, we don't own anybody, but Joshua feels connected to you and to Palm, and Spencer feels connected and a part of East Valley, and the way that East Valley is loving on their family as they walk through this hard season with Lisa, that's what keeps people coming back, texting, I'll come, I'll show up. Adam March showing up at East Vale on a Thursday night just to sit and watch us when he's one of the most ridiculous bass players I've ever heard. That people want to feel a part of something. They want to feel connected to something. And so it's important that we celebrate and we remember those people because some of them are getting us out of bed some days, right? So your assignment is we've all expressed the gratitude that we feel with each other, and what I want is I want all of you to, when you leave this place, I want you to express that to some of the people that you mentioned. So send a note to Daniel Marks, send a note to Joshua, send a note to Spencer, send whoever, the team you served with this past weekend. Hit up Kenny and Jean and Steve and say, Three Amigos, couldn't do this without you guys, what you mean to me. Because in the same way that when you receive that word or those words from somebody, you feel seen and you feel valued and you feel connected, what that does to your volunteers, you just can't put a price tag on. Like, you know, for Melissa to hear from you, like, how she's growing in confidence, that will she'll be on cloud nine. You know, Frankie and Joanna, how much value they added. The people that you mentioned, like, it's just a game changer for your volunteers. I don't think in a church you ever get to a place where you're coasting with volunteers, but words of affirmation, they will keep coming back. I'm 100% convinced of it. If they feel like they're just part of you checking off your weekend responsibilities, they might not come back. So just be sure that as you're experiencing gratitude, you're expressing it. That's what's really, really important. Morgan, Steve, Cash, you guys want to share something, please do. Put up a video on Slack and we'll all watch it. Or just share some words. We'd love to celebrate what you guys are celebrating too. Christina as well. So real quick, some exciting news to share with you guys. Steve and Beck are going to be joining our team.
Woo!
Say what?
When?
Word.
When is a great question.
Awesome.
We have been working on this process for a while. We were hoping for June 24th, probably beginning of July. They'll both be coming on in a network role and doing a lot of shadowing and observing in the beginning. What I really want is, as people join our team, I really want our culture embedded into who they are before they just start leading. So some of you are like, ooh, go get on that August calendar. So that in time, it'll come in time. So they have a consulate appointment. I believe it's July 1st. It's for Beck. She has to get a visa. We had to do some pretty gnarly stuff to get that to work. Apparently Donald Trump has made the process harder. Shocker. So we have now hopefully overcome the hurdle, and this will now just
It's a
be a
good
formality
video.
appointment, and they are extremely stoked about coming and joining our team. You talk about someone who you're like, hey, when can I, like, Steve, man, just emails and excited, and I know he's connected with some of you guys on social media. I know Isaiah, I think you as well. So I'm really excited for that, but I just want you to remember that when we bring new people onto our team, it doesn't matter to me. Like, if I start to say, hey, I got some big news, Joel Houston's gonna be joining our team. But Joel Houston is amazing at what he does, but Joel Houston doesn't know the culture of Sandals Church. And it's just a different culture, right, Garrett? It's just a different, it's different. And it's different from campus to campus. So they're going to come in July and really take the posture of a learner and an observer. They're going to go through all of our Rogo School of Music content, like some condensed versions. And then they're just going to get out to observe, and then they'll go from observing to shadowing to co-leading to leading. So that's the process that we're kind of bringing new worship leaders through. But they were super stoked. I told them I was going to share it with you guys today. So if you have connections with them on social media, you want to say, hey, super excited that Steve's on social media, I think more than Beck. But they're excited to join our team. So that's some good news. And thank you for flexing for next week. It's an important family meeting that we're going to have next Tuesday. So whatever rearranging you're doing to be a part of it, really grateful for that. It's just all I can say right now is just it's an important meeting. So I'm really thankful for you guys. A couple of things just so you know that are real high priorities for me that I'm working on as it relates to our team is by the end of this month, I'm hoping to be able to go over with you a standardized process and policy for scheduling weekends off for worship leaders, for both network worship leaders and campus worship leaders. I want to really clear up any ambiguity or vagueness around what that looks like, and so that everyone's just like, this makes total sense. What I put in the email, I want you guys to leave from a place of rest and energy, but I really believe consistency is important, especially in the campus role. So I don't think you should just lead for forever and then right before you die call in a network worship leader to come fill in for you. That's not the goal. it's also your job, so there's that other factor that we have to show up to work. So yeah, that's I'm in between those two things of the expectation, but also the place that I want you to leave from. Trying to create a policy that you feel really good about, that our campus pastors feel really good about, and that really sets you up to succeed. I'm working on some things for Montclair, for covering worship at Montclair, that I hope to be able to solidify within the next week to share with you guys. By the end of July is my goal to have a worship leader for both San Bernardino and Menifee lined up, taken care of. So those are my highest priorities as far as our team right now. So none of those things are falling through the cracks while I work on other things. Those are the important things, and obviously getting Stephen back across the world here with a desk and a place to sit and do their job. So with that being said, I'm super looking forward to tomorrow night. Who's going tomorrow? Everyone in this room is going tomorrow.
Hey.
You're going, right? Okay.
Let's
Can you
go.
drive? By the way?
It's gonna be lit.
Me?
I can.
Okay. I think if me, Christina, and you drive, we'll have ample space for everybody.
I can drive too.
I don't mind
Another-
driving either.
Oh, do you have
Morgan
minivan?
has the minivan.
I have a 7.
Pablo has the
Morgan's on
Subi.
vacation.
I was gonna say, I don't think Morgan's back.
Subi.
No.
You don't want
It's
me driving.
6
Is her
comfortable.
van
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
vacation?
So,
I do need
you guys fight.
Can we use Morgan's van while
I'm
she's
not
out of
here.
state?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. Christina can fit 6. I'm not fitting 8 because that's just awkward. But I think we have 14 total. So
Okay.
6, 6, and 4. No, wait, that's not right math.
Push
is it?
9.
6, 6,
I'm for that.
Oh yeah.
Or just 6, 4, and 2.
As long as like
How?
three don't
Whatever.
It's not right.
Math
6,
is
4, and
You know,
4.
I'm just
Five.
kidding.
6, 4, and 4. 5, 5,
You
4.
can ride
Um,
comfortably between
Yes.
3 cars.
Yes.
6,
All
4,
of
4,
that.
5, 5, 4.
Yeah, I did the wrong math.
1?
Something like
so
that.
we're going to Yard
No, we can
House,
sing
and
five
Chino
songs on the
Hills
way.
for dinner. We have a reservation at 4:45, so we only leave right at 4.
Mm. Couple
This
beers.
is like a micro retreat for our team, essentially. Just to, yeah, you'll have to pay for that. Sorry, I sent the Sandals credit card. We get
Worth it.
scanned
Worth
goes, right?
it.
So,
Me and
see
Matt,
Mark Taylor.
Matt Ritchie on the
You
bar.
guys,
Hi,
Taylor,
Taylor.
tell her what you're going to do right now.
I got Tim Carson vocal lesson.
Yeah, you do.
See you
These will
later.
be all in your soul.
Bring the tissue.
Yeah.
Really. Taylor's my yes, we have 4:45 at Yard House, Chino Hills, and then we'll head down to the Staples Center. This is really sweet. I was in Arizona this past week, and my sister-in-law's from Mexico, and her brother and his wife were coming up from Mexico, and my brother and my sister-in-law are Christians, but they're not really like connected or anything like that. So all they said was, "Hey, you'll meet my brother." This is my sister-in-law because he and his wife are coming up for a Christian concert. I'm like, "Oh, that's nice, a Christian concert." So we're all hanging at their house on Friday night, and they speak very little English. They're just the sweetest people. And she's like, she's asking him, "Who are you going to see?" And so I hear him go, "Hillsong." I was like, "Oh, you're going to see Hillsong?" And so we start talking about it. And so you guys, just perspective again. He has very broken English. He was saying to me, no one in Mexico is a Christian. Everyone is Catholic. And so our churches are like 50 people max. He goes, and so when I started to believe in Jesus for salvation, that's what he told me. He goes, I said I need music. I need to listen to music because he was a partier. He was a clubber. He was like getting down in Mexico. And so
Mexico style.
someone introduced him to Hillsong, and you guys, it has changed his life. So he's like to me, tell me what it will be like, because he's never been in a space of like thousands of people. I'm like, it's gonna blow your mind. I don't know how else to tell you this. You're going to be, I'm like, so they drove up to Phoenix just for this concert. He just was like, it was like talking to a kid who was getting ready to go to Disney World for the first time. Like he couldn't stop smiling. He couldn't, and I'm like, we get to worship with thousands of people like every week, but like he's like, one man in my church played the guitar, 50 people, we sing very loud, we sing not very good. Like this is how he's like, and I'm like, I have so bad wanted to text my sister. I'm like, I want to know from Rigo how the concert was, because they were like overjoyed. So I think it's just gonna be an awesome time for us who are always leading, especially for you guys, just to be led And Mac Brock and Amanda Cook don't hurt either. That they're the opener.
They're gonna be there too.
Yeah, Amanda Cook's. It's
Yeah.
Mac Brock and Amanda Cook opening for Hillsong United. It's kind of like
Wait, what? Oh,
Well, there's
slain.
that's
clips
a
of
whole.
her jumping in with them and leading.
Okay, I
Maybe
didn't
good
prepare
grace.
for that.
Yes.
I think
I've
she
seen that.
hopped in and
I
still
will
singing.
most
No.
likely just be in the choir.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
my
love-
spirit
I
needs a
love
whole
how she
different
chews gums.
preparation
That's where you
for
go.
if Amanda's gonna
She
be
always
there.
chews
story.
gum when she
No, I was like I was resilient enough for Hillsong, but if
Hey.
Amanda's gonna be there, my
Yeah,
heart
right.
needs extra quiet
She starts
time.
singing
Yeah.
Mercy.
No, it's yeah. If she
I know.
opens for them,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna miss the whole part because
Yeah.
I won't be able to see with
Yeah,
the tears.
So I'm super stoked. Yeah, so we'll be here at 4. I'll make sure Amber
That's next
locks in
level.
and we can leave
You know,
our
that's
cars
next level.
here and like be able to get back just like on the way back. So yeah, be here right at 4. Come in later because it's work, so you don't need to be here in the morning or anything like that. You can clock in.
The thing is work?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
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 Christmas bonus.
Some fun work.
Thanks, Owen.
So
Wow.
we were talking about this earlier because we have staff meetings.
I have to
Tuesday.
clock out for that beer.
Wow.
So I have like a morning
Yeah.
schedule.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh.
If it has to be overtime, then that's what it has to be. I'm not gonna like make you miss that meeting or tell you not to clock in because you had something in the morning. So just do what you have to do. Yep. I didn't mean that like, oh well for you. I meant like it's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't mean that. You know.
I didn't take it.
Thank you, Pablo. Pablo knows me. All right. 11:59.
Boom.
Way to go.
For next Tuesday, I'm in Arrowhead. That's my Arrowhead day.
Okay.
So
I will chat with Ian and see if there's any flexibility, and if
Okay.
not, we'll just get you the notes from the meeting.
cool. I'm gonna watch it.
Is the Monday meeting gonna be on Tuesday instead?
That's
Is that
right.
what
I'm
it's
away Monday, but we have to meet next week, so I just bumped it to Tuesday.
Is it the same time?
I think it's at 12.
It's at 12.
Yeah, because I know that some of you have staff meetings at your campuses in the morning, so I was gonna do it at 10, but I moved it to 12. So yeah,
Mine's 10:12.
okay. Even if
Let's
even
you
we
call
can
in.
do a Google Hangout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can call in. That'd be just do that.
Okay, cool.
Fine.
Can I do that?
No.
Well, okay. Oh, I won't.
Where are you at? Are you at Marina Valley?
Well, my Marina Valley is
What's
11
in your
to
staff
12,
meeting?
Got
and
it.
it's just
Yeah, so call me.
it's
Totally fine.
30 minutes.
Totally fine. I thought you were like, oh, that sounds fun.
No, yeah, I was just thinking of which one to
Yeah.
hang out to.
Yeah.
But I can ask him if we can shift it, but if we can't, like, that was like my last resort.
We'll set up as a Google Hangout so that you can call in if you need to. Yeah, perfect. But if you can be here, I would really like you to be
I
here.
try to be here.
Yes. All right. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
So, Matt,
So do we decide on the driving or
so
do
we can
just
go see
wanna decide
Godzilla tomorrow before
Is it
work?
assigned seat?